What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be putting in the ZF5 in my 88 Ford Bronco. Let's get into it. So last video, we were in the shop tearing apart this ZF5 and kind of refreshing it a little bit. We've been putting new main bearings on everything, and we slapped it in and put it back together, but we had some issues with fitment. The case wasn't closing all the way, there was some weird binding noises. So we were kind of dead in the water on this after the bearings didn't get fitted. So during the week, I tore this thing apart, pressed all the bearings back in. The trans is back together now, the bearings are pressed in. It feels really smooth, there's not a lot of resistance, so I'm pretty positive this is pretty good. So we're just gonna run it like this with the existing races and shims, and we'll see if it actually causes issues. We're still gonna modify this thing to fit the MP205, so we need to pull the old trans and transfer case out of the Bronco. So let's get started on that. Now, I'm really excited for this ZF5 for a couple reasons. The first one being, wow, these are extremely loose. I'm so bad at tightening bolts. The first reason being that the ZF5 actually has a granny gear, while this M50D does not. My axles aren't geared properly like they should be. I don't have the money to get gears and lockers right now. But having that granny gear and it'll help, and it'll also help combat the extremely high low gear that I have in the MP205. So yeah, that's the first reason, is the crawl gear will be really nice. The shifter is way better. The ZF5 has a really crispy shifter and it's solid, it doesn't break. That's the other cool part about putting this ZF5 in here, is once this thing has a ZF5, then every single one of my manual vehicles, from my truck, my Bronco, and my BMW, will all have ZF5 transmissions. I think that's pretty sick. My daily driver, Audi Allroad, is an automatic, but that transmission is also built by ZF. So all of my vehicles will have ZF transmissions, and I think that's pretty sick. The ZF in my Audi, is the first automatic that I haven't hated in years. So that's really cool. I'm really excited to crawl in this ZF5. It's gonna be a game changer. And the cool part about that is, I'm going to be trying it out really soon, because I just reservation and stay to go to Utah Bronco Safari, which is in Vernal this year. I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna be wheeling with some Broncos. I think they're mostly all gonna be new Broncos. So yeah, that's the plan. We are now on a crunch to get to Utah Bronco Safari. Yeah, we're about 4 weeks away and we still got a lot to do. So I need to stop talking and we start making some progress on this thing. Oh, that stuff's clean. I'm gonna try and reuse that. It's probably a no-no, but alright, I just pulled the cross member for the MP205. Now we have to work on the floor. We can't be on the lift anymore, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, gonna drop it, scoot it forward, put the motorcycle jack underneath the transfer case, and get it off.
A few moments later.
Got the transfer case out. That thing kind of put up a fight. It was really tight in here. But it wasn't too bad. I definitely gonna need a hand to get that back in. I definitely can't do that by myself. To be honest, I don't even know if I can get this transmission in by myself, but I'm not stopping anytime soon tonight. I really want to get this transmission in. But before we do that, we have to modify the ZF5 like we did the M50D. That's adding that little notch so the shifter on the MP205 has enough clearance to shift. Since it's only been a few months since I notched out a transmission to fit an MP205, I'm just gonna give this an old snap magic. Alrighty, not too shabby. This one's definitely not as clean as the Mazda Trans one, because I didn't put as much detail into it, but that should work pretty good. Yeah. Yep, that should do it.
12 o'clock midnight.
Right after many a demons were battled, it is time to finally get this trans out. This would have been a pretty simple and straightforward disassembly if the clutch line didn't fight me, but that thing put up a battle. I ended up cutting it. So Let's get this Mazda Trans out of here. Oh, shit. No shit. Well, that worked. Ah! More dirt falls on me. Alright, well, I'm pretty beat. Tonight kind of kicked my ass, so it's almost 1 a.m. I'm going to call it a night here, and we will pick up in the morning. And we're back. Let's get this transmission in. Gonna try and use the motorcycle jack to set this thing up. I got Dev here. He's gonna help me set this up, but I don't know if the motorcycle jack's gonna work, so we'll see what happens. All right, we got the thing just barely not lined up. It is so close, you see that? It's sat on the spline, but it needs to go just up a little bit higher. Motorcycle jack's maxed out, so we're gonna think of a solution and we'll let you know what happens. Alrighty, we got the bolts in. We grabbed some of the new bolts I had some old bolts and I had some new bolts. The new bolts didn't have a bunch of gunk on the threads. The old bolts did, and that was fighting us. So since we have the top of the transmission open, we're gonna fill it through the top because it's just gonna be so much easier. And then we will put the shifter on just to fill the ZF5 goodness and get the transfer case back on. Now we can get this guy back in here. Okay. I just temporarily put the shifter in because I wanted to actually feel a ZF shifter in here, not a nasty Mazda shifter. I am so excited. Oh, that's so good. Ah, I love ZF5s. I could sit here all day. All right, let's get this transfer case in now. Alrighty, got the transfer case in. Got the transmission crossmember up, holding everything up right now. But unfortunately, the twin stick location is not going to work this time because the ZF5 is a much bigger transmission and it's just sitting and interfering. So we're gonna have to find a different location for the twin stick shifters, which kind of sucks. That's next week's problem because we're out of time for this one. Hopefully next weekend we get all this wrapped up and we can drive this truck on the ZF5. But until then, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.